Jadon Sancho's arrival at Manchester United was initially heralded as something of a game changer for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Their right-wing problem set to be a thing of the past, with the England international seemingly guaranteed goals and creativity. Although we are only a couple games into the season, it is worth noting that Sancho has not hit the ground running at Manchester United, unlike his counterpart who arrived in the transfer window, Raphael Varane and Cristiano Ronaldo. What's up guys, it's Let's Talk Football, and today we look at Jadon Sancho's struggles at Manchester United. Digging into Sancho's form after just 4 or 5 Premier League appearances probably seems a little premature. Maybe it is, but his slow start is certainly a talking point from United's perspective. There could be any number of reasons for Sancho taking a little longer to get up to speed than hoped, such as a shortened preseason after Euro 2020, adapting to a new system and teammates, or even a loss of confidence following his spot kick woes in European Championship final. But it is worth pointing out Sancho had a similar tricky start to the 2020-21 season, something his Borussia Dortmund coach at the time partly put down to United's interest. Every player has slow periods. There was a lot of talk about Jadon during the summer. Something like that can be a factor. Ludin Favre said in October last year, "No player is consistently on top form for an entire year. That's impossible, you have to accept that." Sancho's patchy form continued all the way up to Germany's mid-season break. At that point, he had not scored in 11 Bundesliga games and only laid on 3 assists. It was a far cry from his breakout season the previous campaign when he netted 17 and set up another 16, which was the standard he had set for himself going into the new season. Of course, that form is virtually impossible to keep up, especially at such a young age. Even having the talent Sancho has, he would take a little while to hit the ground running in his next season. But is that lack of form to be compared to his first steps in the Premier League? It must be highlighted again that Sancho's first 4 Premier League matches represent a small sample size, so you obviously have to be a little cautious when it comes to drawing conclusions. After all, he could score a hat-trick after coming back from the international break, and all the critics would be silenced. Nevertheless, Sancho's early season numbers certainly reflect the idea he is not offering a great deal to United. In fact, in terms of productivity, he's significantly down even on that difficult first few months of the 2020-21. For starters, he has managed just 2 shots in 184 minutes on the pitch, which is obviously poor for someone brought in to be an attacking threat, particularly given he averaged 2.4 every 90 minutes pre-Christmas last season. However, saying that, there is a positive spin. Some players may take hopeful snapshots in an attempt to dig themselves out of a rut, but Sancho at least is not panicking in that sense. His stunted productivity does not extend to creativity, however. Creating 1 chance from open play every 90 minutes, he's down on both the pre-1.6 and the post-Christmas 2.5 periods from the 2020-21. And the combined quality of the openings he has crafted have not been especially threatening, with an average predicted assists per 90 minutes is 0.11. Even when deemed to be struggling last season, Sancho's predicted assists per key pass was almost 3 times as high at 0.32. Of course, Sancho was in surroundings that were familiar to him and linking up with players whose habits and characteristics he was more comfortable with. And there's a lot to be said for the value of cohesion, especially when things aren't going your way. That is presumably something Sancho will have to work on even harder at United, given he has limited experience of playing with his new teammates. And building a natural familiarity can only be even more challenged when you appear to have a devoid of confidence. We can only speculate as to why that may be the case, but it is an assumption that the lack of self-belief is one of the things after the Euro 2020 penalty miss, as well as only playing 96 minutes before being specifically sent on in the last seconds of an extra time in the final. All of this does not help Sancho's case of gaining back some self-confidence. What we can say is that Sancho's apparent dip in confidence seems to have manifested in a greater reluctance to take players on. He almost looks sleepish when faced up on by defenders. It should be the other way around. And as such, he is attempting far less dribbles to take on his man, something that we have not seen from Sancho ever since he's been at Dortmund. He is touching the ball far less often, with 64.1 touches per 90 minutes compared to his 84.8 in the first half of last season. Those 64 touches hardly suggest he is being ignored by his teammates. If Sancho continues to lack productions in a final third, teammates will look for him to begin with, as he knows he won't bring a threat. This in itself is interesting because it suggests that although Sancho was not much of a creator or a finisher in the first part of 2020-21, his influence in the build-up remained constant over the 2 periods of the campaign. And with all these negatives on top of Sancho's large price tag this summer, it is easy to forget what the player United got and how he will come good. I'm sure of it, and I'm sure many Manchester United fans and even other Premier League fans are sure that Sancho will come true. And saying that, not every player hit the ground running for their clubs. Here's just a few examples of great legends who never hit the ground running, but turned out to be great players for their clubs. Starting with Robert Pires, who was once voted the 6th greatest ever Arsenal player in history. And it's easy to forget just how uncharacteristically ordinary the first and final chapters of Pires' North London stay were. There was also fellow Manchester United legend Nemanja Vidic and Patrice Evra, and their starts to their United campaigns didn't go so well, as Evra's debut was mercifully brought to an end at halftime of a 3-1 Manchester Derby defeat, and Vidic's Premier League bow came into a 4-3 loss at Blackburn. The pair would overcome their early struggles to each win 5 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League, 3 League Cups, 5 Community Shield, and a Club World Cup. Between them, they made 679 appearances for United. And finally, Dennis Bergkamp. The former Ajax star arrived from the Inter Milan in 1995 as Bruce Rioch's first signing for a whopping $7.5 million. 3 times Arsenal's previous record fee. The Dutchman was joining a team that had finished 12th in the Premier League the previous season, and his arrival combined with the recruitment of David Platt signaled the club's intention to get back to the top. Despite his status as one of the most talented players in the game, Bergkamp took his sweet time to settle into the Premier League, and he was ridiculed for it. No goals in his first 7 games, drew harsh criticism from the international press until he got going with his first goal, and when they arrived, they were worth waiting for. So let's just say, Sancho has lots of time in his United career, and this video is not to slate him, it's just to point out that the struggles are normal, and that United fans should have nothing to worry about. You know the player that you paid for, and he will come good soon enough. Let Ronaldo's honeymoon period wind down, and Sancho will find his way into games more often, as they will less likely force the ball to Ronaldo, and more of the team will get the ball. But let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. How long will it take for Sancho to come good in a United shirt? Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you guys in the next one.